All right, welcome back to the best pickleball podcast on the planet, called Pickleball for All. This is Jeff Bruni again, alongside my partner in crime, Cooper Wesley.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, Coop?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. All is well. You been playing a lot of pickleball lately?
Yeah, way too much, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good problem.
Yeah, good problem to have.
Right. Very good. So what have you been working on lately?
I've been working on my backhand. That's for one thing. That's a never-ending battle. Something if you don't, I feel like, anyways, for me, if I don't train it consistently, you lose it. That's not like a born skill. That's a learned skill. Sure.
We probably need to add a backhand episode.
Probably.
We could probably have like 10 episodes on that.
We can probably have at least one good one about how to start learning it, to hitting more advanced shots with it, and then staying consistent with your backhand for sure.
All right, we'll add that to the list. Because I had a few questions, but I'm like, we might as well make an actual episode out of that.
Probably should.
But today's episode, speaking of backhand, because that's very important in today's episode, how to go from a DUPR 3.5 to a 4.0.
There we go.
I bet backhand consistency is a huge part of that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. How long did it take you to go from a 3.5 to a 4.0 and then beyond?
3 years.
Really?
Took me 3 years to actually get to a point where I was comfortable with calling myself a 4.0 player.
We had a whole episode on everything DUPR. When somebody just starts out and they've played some tennis, they've played whatever, like generally what are people starting out as far as the DUPR go?
If you have any semblance or background with racket sports, you're generally going to start around that 3.5 mark, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Just your basic skills that you're going to learn as far as swinging or court positioning or anything like that. It's just going to give you an immediate upper hand in the pickleball world. It's just, it's been called mini tennis before. It really is just a smaller, more compact version of a
it's a good teaser for a future
court.
episode, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
But I think if you don't have any background in racket sports, you could be somebody that starts in that. Or if you're, no racket sports, but you're still like maybe an athlete. You played I played soccer before. I didn't play any racket sports. I just played soccer and I jumped right into it. But
did you have to stop yourself from kicking the ball all the time?
Yeah,
Pickleball,
sure.
yeah. Like, hey man, it's not hacky sack. You got
I was
hit it with the paddle.
My main sport before I jumped into it was ultimate frisbee. So I had to try really hard to not hit the ball out all the time.
True.
Yeah. So
true.
But if you have any semblance of racket sports, you're probably starting around that 3.5. You've already got a leg up in the game. You understand, what's going to happen when you hit that ball, or you understand what happens in a series of points where you're hitting it over a net, you're waiting on your opponent's shot. It's a little different from normal sports where you don't have the neutralizer that is the net in the center of the game. But I think everybody else, if you're just starting the game first off, you're probably sitting around that 3.0 mark, right? So anywhere from 3.0 to 3.5. The beginning of the rankings is 2.0 or 2.5. That's just, there's people that will start there and they just, can't hit the broadside of a barn. But
I've seen those people.
Yeah. But it's me sometimes. But yeah. So I would say in this discussion, if we're talking about going from not necessarily a beginner, but somebody that has played the game for a year or two and they're sitting around that intermediate mark of 3.5 and they want to get to a point where they're playing consistent competitive play, which is what I would consider 4.0 to be. Mm-hmm. There's 2 or 3 things you need to definitely have, in my opinion, to be at that level.
Yeah. So what are the main mistakes that the 3.5 player is making to keep them from becoming that 4.0, in your opinion?
Well, so it's a little bit different from naming 3 things that you need to be a 4.0. But pace control is definitely one of those things. I think people at the 3.5 intermediate level, like guys that really think they can hit the ball well, are going to play the game extremely fast. They want to drive everything. They want to run up to the net as soon as they can. And a lot of times that gets them in trouble, or that creates errors or allows them to expose themselves or their partner as you're trying to work your way up to the kitchen line, which is the hole
It's
precipice
probably
of the game.
Pace control in multiple directions. It's pace control,
Yeah.
hitting the ball, pace control, like running on the court, moving on the court.
Yep. And if you just want to segue into that, I think that's one big thing that, differentiates intermediate 3-5 play to advanced, the beginning of advanced play 4-0 and above, is being able to recognize that moving slowly through your progression as far as getting from the baseline to the kitchen and being patient with those shots that lead up to a finishing shot or winning a point or winning a game, being comfortable there and not feeling rushed or the need to just, run straight out to the kitchen or hit drive after drive after drive, finishing shot after finishing shot, realizing that you can have a series of 7-8 shots before you get to a finishing shot.
We've talked about it before. That's the biggest thing I see as the difference between the great seasoned players like you and just the normal rec players is every shot for them is they attempted it to be a finishing shot.
Right.
Where you and the people that you play with the most, it's chess.
The term
moves.
You're looking for is setups.
Correct.
Like if you're comfortable with hitting several setups leading up to your kill shot,
yeah,
that's advanced and your beginning advanced 4-0 and above play. I would think that along with your placement of your shots and the speed and pace of your shots along with the pace you're moving at on the court.
And I think
important.
the placement of shots can be more defined, like the placement, and when, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's placement with purpose,
right?
Is what I was thinking.
There you go.
Like you want to, hey, I'm hitting it at his right foot for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just hitting it over.
Yep.
I think the 3-5 and below, they're just happy to get the ball over.
Yeah.
Where the more advanced you get, it's placement with purpose.
Correct.
You're putting it there for a reason, whether it's you're hitting it to their backhand, you're trying to move them more, you're setting up your partner, it's different stuff like that.
And it's really, you're putting a ball in a place that you're expecting another shot to come. You're thinking of the next shot.
Because
afterwards.
with deduction, you can, when you place a shot with purpose, you pretty much know what shot and where it's going to come back to within reason. Right?
Within reason, yeah. You can if you understand your opponent or their game, or you've deducted, hey, this person. Just example, if I've deduced that, I've hit 3 or 4 shots to my opponent's backhand and they've not really handled them as well as their forehand. Well, I can assume, hey, okay, if they're moving up to get to the kitchen, we got them in the no-go zone. They're in the middle of the court between baseline and kitchen, and I hit it to their backhand foot side. I can deduce that there's probably going to be some sort of a pop-up or maybe a hit in the net. Well, if I can just hit a low shot to their feet and expect a pop-up, then I know as soon as I hit that low shot, I should already be ready with my paddle up to finish the next play.
So those 4-0
like that.
Yeah, those 4-0 players, we've kind of alluded to it a little bit. Way more patient.
Yep.
They have great footwork. That's when you notice on the lesser player in the DUPR world that their feet get really lazy.
Yeah.
And they're reaching for balls.
Yeah, it's a lot more standing around.
Yep. The 4-0 players are very active with their feet. And I notice all this watching you and those DUPR elite guys that are in our facility all the time.
Yeah.
The resets are way more consistent. And just like we said, recognizing when to attack a ball.
Right.
Is kind of separates you from that 3-5 kind of crowd.
And always reacting to what's happening on the court, regardless of if you hit the ball or your partner hit the ball. There's always a move to take, a position to take. And a great example is I watched a couple weeks ago. I watched Hayden Patrickman play, and it was him and Anna Bright versus Ben Johns and Anna Lee Waters. And every time they would get to the kitchen, Anna Lee Waters and Anna Bright would get into a dinking battle where they're going across court to each other. Well, every time the ball would land on Hayden's side of the court, it was being returned to his partner, Anna Bright, and it went back 9 or 10 times, and every time you would see Hayden move without having to hit the ball. He was standing on his side of the court, but he would immediately take a half step over to the center of the line, expecting a pop up from Annalie Waters, expecting something to happen in that play, knowing in his head, it's Annalie Waters across from me. She's probably not going to make a mistake.
Yeah.
But every single time that ball crossed the net, he would shift over. And then when it got back over to their side, he would shift back to his neutral position.
You know, we've mentioned it before on this. Just like in any sport, movement without the ball is maybe more important than movement with the ball.
Right. No, I would go as far as say if you're not sweating when you're playing pickleball, you're not playing the game right. You should be moving consistently. Your knees and your lower legs should be hurting from all the bending down motions and the changing positions and working around the ball. I mean, that's how the game was meant to be played, and that's at the highest level. That's why you're not seeing very many out of shape guys at the highest level of the sport.
Right.
It's a lot of looks like track and field people out there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, I primarily came up with this topic for this podcast because actually all these topics are because I want to improve my own game.
Yeah.
I want to go from 3.5 to 4.0. Like I've said before, I hit 4.0 shots a lot.
Yeah.
But I hit way more 3.5 shots.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of common with all players, you know. I wish I could play as much as you play where I could work on that. I guess I could probably take it up more.
You probably could.
Yeah.
You come in there on King of the Courts, play on the intermediate side to help you out a little bit.
I need to do that. Well, that's how you go from a 3.5 to 4.0. You play.
Yep.
Right?
Play a lot of pickleball.
Yeah. Yep. So I just gave myself the answer for improving my game.
There you go.
Well, we appreciate you all listening in, and as always, if you've got any topics you'd like us to address, info@picklecape.com. Make sure you're following us on social media, all those channels. We're pretty funny on our social media posts. It's probably a good follow. But as always, thanks again, and this is Pickleball for All.